In this video, I will show how to parse a name without a middle name, with a middle name, or even with two middle names. So first what we want to do is we want to parse out the first name. This is going to be always on the left side of the string up until the first space. And we can do equals left. We want the left of this text, comma. Well, how many characters we want to find? We want to find the first space, or find a space, comma, within this text, right parenthesis, but we don't want to include the space in the first name, so we want to -1, and then we will do an end parenthesis there, and here we can see we get the first name of all of these strings. When it comes to the last name, Sherry Thomas will be quite simple because there's only one space, so for us to do this we can say, well, we know the last name is always going to be on the right of the string, so we'll say right of this text, comma, how many characters? We want everything up until the space, but only after that. So we want to take the length of this string minus where we find the space within the string, end parentheses, and we can see that we're getting the last name of Thomas and Tracy. But we'll notice that we have problems when we have more than one space, because this find function is only finding the first space in the string. So to approach these problems, essentially what we want to do is we want to figure out first how many spaces are in the string. In order to do that, we can say equals, well, what's the length of this string to start off, minus, if we substitute out those spaces for nothing, what's that length? So we can do length, well, when we substitute this text, where we take the old text of the space, comma, replace it for nothing, end parenthesis, we can see that for these two strings we've got 2 spaces, and these two strings we have 3 spaces. Now what we want to do is we want to identify where this second, which is our last space, is. Well, if we use the find function, we'll notice that it doesn't let us indicate which space we're trying to look for. It's only ever going to look for the first space. So instead, what we need to do is we need to replace this second space with another character. In order to do that, we can use the substitute function again, where we know we want to substitute this text, comma, where we take the old text, which is the space, and replace it with something new, like a special character like left bracket, comma, and now this actually lets us tell the instance number. So this instance, it's going to replace that second space with a bracket. If we close off this formula and hit enter, we can see that for all of these, the bracket is now telling us where we want to find the last name. So now we can say, okay, just like we've done before, we want to take the right of this text, comma, how many characters do we want? Well, we want the length of this text minus where we find the left bracket within this text. Close off this, and now we can see our last name is going to be presented correctly for each of these last names, regardless of if there's no middle name, one middle name, or 2 middle names.